This is the Violent Professional Podcast brought to you by AriesClothing.com.
Find it kind of funny, I find it kind of sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. Fucking world is losing its fucking mind, 'cause it's a very, very mad world. I say it's a mad world. You ever hear that song? It's like one of my favorite songs. It's from Donnie Dark. I mean, it's from, I can't remember who it's from, but I should probably look that up. But it's in Donnie Darko, or I don't know is it in Donnie Darko? I don't know. It's a song, Mad World. It's pretty representative of today's fucking society in a nutshell, if I could be so bold and say that. I feel like the world is losing its mind, and I think you guys probably feel that way too. You know, shit's just not right. Glitch in the matrix. Things are very weird. And I'm gonna talk about that today. I'm gonna talk about a few things that have been happening this past week. Partially me diving into the fucking world of madness. You know, it's been a tough week. Tough 2 weeks. Tough titties. But I'm not here to you know, just have a fucking pity party. Not at all. That's not what I'm about. I hope you know that already. But I just wanted to discuss why the world's so fucking mad. And I hope you enjoy the sound quality on this fucking maddening episode. 'Cause we got new shit. We got new equipment. New shit. We got new equipment that is all over this fucking place. I'm not going to show you because I don't want to fuck with the camera. Maybe if you join Patreon, you can fucking see a behind the scenes tour. You know, you get all the eyes on all the goodies we have. I should probably make a part of the website that lists what we've got, so that maybe if you start a podcast, you can fucking get some good equipment. And we're getting all that good equipment because of patrons. They're essentially, if you don't know what Patreon is, if this is your first episode, I'm sorry. It's probably going to be something that's shocking and different, but because it's not a standard podcast, you know, there's a lot of podcasts that are all different, but this is just a unique one. I like it. I like doing it. Unfortunately, because of the new equipment, there are some, you know, learning curves, just like anything. There's some fucking learning curves I wasn't ready for, dog. You know what I'm saying? And the audio wasn't balanced. So that's part of why we have more new equipment to stop having all the issues. I had this fucking doohickey with the switches and the knobs and shit, and now I just have this single thing you plug the mics into and you just adjust the volume. It's great. It's way better. When I started the podcast, I didn't know what the fuck I'm doing. And to some respect, I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So I'm trying to get better at it. I'm trying to learn, give you guys a good experience, better experience. Maybe not the best experience, but a good experience. And whatever that is, I don't know. Because I don't know if this is good for you or it's not. And if it's not, why are you still fucking listening? So I'll get into why things are not right. You know, I wanted to kick it off by talking about just go over it real quick. Because you can watch it for yourself. I don't want to fucking dive too deep into this fucking thing, you know, knuckles deep like Jeffrey Epstein was. It's kind of sick. It's a fucked up joke. I realize it, but you can turn this episode off right now because it's not going to get any better after this. He's if you don't know the story of Jeffrey Epstein, he's a disgusting pig that liked to fuck kids. To summarize them, to give you the Cliff Notes version of what happened in his life. But I watched the documentary and nothing surprising in there. Nothing really. There's a couple events that are ponderous. It makes me question reality and how people fucking believe that that's a good way of life. You know, it's up there with R. Kelly and all these other fucking weirdos that like to do things like that. You know, I mean, the one thing R. Kelly's got on Jeffrey Epstein is R. Kelly made some sweet music. You can't deny that Trapped in the Closet is one of the best epic ballads ever in history. So, one of my buddies, he's overseas right now. We were gonna do this is before the podcast is what it is today, but we were gonna do like a like video where we review each episode of Trapped in the Closet, but we never did it. Unfortunately, maybe in the future. He's coming back soon, so maybe we'll do it then. But that's a hard one. Trapped in the Closet. It's a long fucking series of episodes. But yeah, so I watched Jeffrey Epstein, Filthy Rich on Netflix. It's a good documentary, I guess. It's a little bit drug out. You know what the summary is. You know where it goes. There's a couple things that were, like I said, ponderous to me, but one of them, I'll only touch on one of them, and it was that goddamn Charles Gasparino. He's in the last episode. He's talking about where Jeffrey Epstein killed himself in that jail. And yeah, I'll put a picture up in the corner for the YouTube video, but the motherfucker is the laziest, sloppiest piece of shit. I think he's an investigative journalist or some shit, but he's like the sloppiest fuck. And I made this video on social media where I was just like slamming him. I'm like, this is the reason why all these girls get taken, and it's fucking true because of people like that. You don't have any attention to detail. You know, it's a shame. Like, and he's the only. Ironically, his desk looks like shit, but he's the only person in the entire documentary that doesn't think he killed himself, which is fucking odd. Maybe his desk says otherwise. Who fucking knows? I don't know. I couldn't live that life. Dude likes to live like a pig. That's fucking crazy to me. You know, I'm not the most organized individual. It's partly because I'm a creative. You know, they say a little bit of genius. If you have some of that, you're a little bit fucking chaotic to some respect. I'm a creative type. I can't live in like a really organized fucking life, and I've tried my whole fucking life to be so organized. That's a lie. I've tried as of late to be very organized, but it's hard to be creative if you're not living in fucking chaos. So, but for my business and stuff like that, no doubt that shit's organized, but just generally life can be a little bit chaotic, but not like Charles Gasparino, that fucking pile of garbage, man. He's the reason that fucking, like, people like him are the reason that the fucking societies collapse because they just can't get their shit together. He looked like a used car salesman without any cars. It was just a fucking desk full of papers. Like, what? You know, those yellow legal pads where you fucking write some shit and you're like, this story sucks. And then you crumple it up and throw it. That's what that motherfucker, his desk looked like. Legal documents all askew. Who the fuck are you, Charles Gasparino? I mean, his part was so small, but it's just like, there's some things like that you see in the fucking episode that they don't even talk about. Like, they don't even talk about, like, Jeffrey Epstein's next to Harvey Weinstein Weinstein or however the fuck you say that fucker's name, and he's got a Navy SEAL outfit on. It's like, what is going on there? They're not even gonna call out the elephant in the room here. Like, is just at least say it's a fucking Halloween costume or some shit. I don't know. It was just very weird. There's little events like that throughout the documentary that I didn't sit well with me, and I was just sitting there like, hold on, you know. Child fucking aside, I don't understand this. Like, child fucking, I understand he's a fucking weirdo. He's got a mental disorder. I don't understand the fucking why the papers are all askew and that he's wearing a fucking Navy SEAL outfit. At least touch on it. Be like, oh yeah, he's wearing this a Halloween pageant or somewhere or whatever the fuck, a ball of some sort. You know, but it leads into everything. Like, the world is fucking losing its mind. If the world had a mind, it was fucking losing it long time ago. But as of recently, it's kicked into overdrive. You know, so I'm sitting there last week after all this stuff, and just things don't feel right. You know, I've talked about it before. A lot of times I'm alone. Like right now, I'm alone. I'm running my business. I'm doing a lot of things by myself. You know, I've got my family, but it's a little bit challenging to some regards because I am by myself when I'm working. I'm I want to have employees, but at the same time, I don't want to pay fucking taxes on employees. So I take on a lot of the burden to fucking have a, tax, as much of the least amount of tax I have to pay to the fucking state. That's what I'm going for, because I do it legally, I do it responsibly, I document all my shit, but the less I have to deal with the fucking agencies in Washington State, the fucking better I feel about things, So employees, I've had them. I've had a whole bunch of fucking employees, not like I'm a fucking shitty person to work with. It's just like, people have things going on. They try to advance. It's not much, advancement in the screen printing industry. You know what I'm saying? So, and the podcast is just me and whoever comes on the episode. So it's like, that's not really, you got to look at it from an objective standpoint, realize like it is what it is. Like, people are going to leave, they're going to come and go. And that's just life in general. You got to let those baby birds fly. You got to get, prop them up so they can fucking, spread their wings and fly out of this fucking coop. But, after my last employee, he moved on to like, a better, opportunity, I guess. Good on him. But it's like after that, I was like, I don't want to deal with fucking employees. And it's like, it's nothing wrong with them per se. It's just, it's the state of Washington again. So I decided to take on a lot of the stuff I have to do in my business by myself. In fact, all of it. With that, I'm, by myself quite a bit. And that's, that is what it is. I've always usually been that way. I'm a loner for the most part. I like to hang out with friends, but, only for a little bit. Like after an hour, it's like, get the fuck away from me. I gotta go fucking, watch videos on YouTube or some shit, or learn something, read a book or whatever. Go get drunk in my fucking podcast studio and get the fuck out of here. So with that, I there was a day in particular, and I can't put my finger on when, but there was a day in particular where I was like, I feel like everybody's robots. I don't feel I'm serious. I was like, what if I sit there as I'm doing my daily duties, and I'm like, what if I'm the only person in the fuck world? I don't know if you're listening to this and you've ever like felt that way. No, I know that I'm not the only person, but how do you fucking know? You know what I mean? Like, I can't like dive into somebody else's fucking psyche like I'm fucking being John Malkovich. Great fucking movie. Heartbreaking at the end where the dude gets trapped. I'm not going to ruin it for you. If you haven't seen it, go fucking watch it. Anyway, I will ruin it. Fucking some dude gets trapped in fucking John Malkovich's body, or vice versa. I don't remember which way it is. But essentially the plot is this dude goes through a fucking little midget door in his house, and he's inside of John Malkovich, the fucking actor. And he's just watching through his eyes. And then I think eventually he gets trapped in there. It left you with a really gross feeling. The dude was trapped and just watching things. But yeah, I started looking up. I don't know where the fuck I am. I'm just rambling. And that's what this podcast is anyway. I started looking up like disorders like, is everybody else a robot and I'm real? Maybe I'm the robot. I started looking it up. There was a couple of them that I came up with, but the closest one was, I'll talk about it a little bit, but I want to discuss really why I feel like I'm going crazy. So part of it is isolation. Another part is I was, it's like hanging with Mr. Cooper, but it's hanging with Mr. Antifa. I was down at the protests, and that wasn't cool. Like, protests is fine. Peaceful protest is fine. The Antifa part is not fine. Like, if I can get the episode to work, because I've got YouTube video, maybe it's out already, I don't know. I gotta put that video out. We got video. I forgot. We got video. I can try to fuck with that. Anyway, the problem that I had with fucking those protests was that it was taken over by Antifa, and that's unfortunate because people had things to say, I don't have to go over it, but the police brutality, Black Lives Matter, it's a big deal these days. Specifically this past week or so, like past 2-3 weeks. But it just got taken over by Antifa. They hijacked it, and then looters and rioters and shit like that. And it's happening all over the place. I'm sure you guys have seen it on the news. But, it's unfortunate on many levels, but it all goes with psychology, kind of the theme of this episode. there's an overwhelming feeling of, I don't feel like a total collapse society, because I think just generally, unless there's a catastrophic extinction level event or something like that, I think humans are pretty resilient. I mean, you look at babies and they can fucking jump head first off a couch and survive. You know what I mean? Like people can get in accidents and fucking totally be fine, while some aren't. You know what I mean? Like people are resilient, and then their mindsets, like as you get, because everybody gets damaged over their life in some way, shape, or form, you get fucking PTSD or like just experience in general. People are pretty resilient. You know, some snap. It's just like, it's unavoidable for some people. There's some people that are mentally stronger than others. Like, I feel like I'm a pretty mentally tough person. You know, maybe not always emotionally, steadfast. I fucking get angry quick sometimes, like, or I don't panic, but I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, you know, when something happens or surprises me. But generally, I'm a pretty resilient individual mentally. I've always been told, like, damn, I don't know how you do it, man. How you fucking deal with a lot of the shit, stress that's going on in your life. It's because I'm just a resilient individual. And it's just like anything, conditioning, stress inoculation. I've been through a ton of it. So, yeah, I think in a grand scale, I think humans in general in society will be okay. But as of right now, in this current stage, if you're listening to this in 100 years to study humanity, this isn't a good start. Like, you shouldn't be listening to this podcast. But, I think there's I don't know. It's hard to say, because like people are saying civil war, but I don't think it's going to be like that. I think there's just some idiots out there that are, they created a movement, a counter movement to the Black Lives Matter movement. And now it's becoming appealing to little shitheads that live in their parents' basement, or they feel like society is against them, or they feel like the government fucked them over somehow. It's not because they're just lazy pieces of shit that feel like society owes them. It's, it's really, the cards are stacked against them, you could say. But those little fuckers, you watch the news, you're looking at Chaz, they fucking hate that apparently. I've been looking on the fucking news. The Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. Sounds like some weird sexual orientation or some shit. Like some made up binary shit that like, what is it? Not binary, because that's ones and zeros, but like some weird made up fucking gender identity that they made. Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. It's like, is that some sort of cyborg? I don't get it. Now, these little Antifa fucks took over this section, and I'm sure you know about it, but I'm just going to go over it because it's a podcast, and it's all about talking, running my mouth. So, but, these little Antifa fucks took it to the extreme. Fucking extreme! They got some Mountain Dew on board. They were like, fucking seal it off. It's fucking Precinct 6. And they went like fucking crazy. Got a bunch of plastic barricades and fucking plywood and like sealed off 6 blocks. I was thinking today, before I recorded this episode, I'm like, we should do a bet. We should have like a fucking checkerboard where we all place bets. I'll just let everybody fucking do it. It'll be like, how many days does it last? Okay, what's your wager? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, how many people die? And then like some other shit like, does Phoenix Jones, the superhero from Seattle, like, does he go in and save the day? Does a militia group go and bust the fucking plywood wall down? Like, particle board isn't stopping anybody. They're just letting it happen. They're like, let's see how fucking long until they starve, you fucking morons. This is funny. If you're not tuned in with the news, what happened is these fucking Antifa fucks took over a portion of Seattle in this area. And it's like, what were you thinking? Like, oh, you create your own currency and fucking you put a fucking warlord in charge, and then it's ironic. You don't like police, but you get rid of police, or so you get rid of police, and then you create your own police force. You don't like oppression, but you created a fucking group of people that are oppressive in nature. You don't like fascism, but you use fascism to get your point across. How fucking crazy is that? In the fucking upside down world we live in, it totally makes sense these days. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, why am I going crazy? It's like, I think there's a collective things. Maybe I'm not going crazy, but it just feels like the glitch is in the matrix. Things are fucking upside down. And I'm just trying to hold on to reality. Grasp onto it like a cold beer in my hand. Cold Coors Light in my fucking hand. I want to get into some fucking disorders and syndromes because I feel like, and I'm just going to talk from my own personal experience. I was like looking it up while I'm working one day, and I'm like, what is that fucking thing what is that syndrome where you feel like everyone else is a robot? What is that syndrome when you feel like everybody else is a robot? And I found something, not really exactly, because I don't have, it's like imposter syndrome, where you feel, imposter syndrome is like where you feel like you're not supposed to be, and this is like a simulation in some regards. But what I found is, I don't know how to say this either, Capgras syndrome or Capgras syndrome. I think it's the former. So basically Capgras syndrome, I'm sorry if I'm saying this wrong and you're like a psychologist and you're like, why are you fucking saying it like that? Capgras syndrome is a psychological condition. It is also known as imposter syndrome or Capgras delusion. People who experience this syndrome will have an irrational belief someone they know or recognize has been replaced by an imposter. Oh no! Oh no! They may, for example, accuse a spouse of being an imposter. You fucking bitch, where's Tiffany? What did you do with Tiffany? She was due 12 hours ago to suck these balls. You know, it can be upsetting for both the person experiencing the delusion and the person who is accused of being an imposter. You know, I don't ever want to be accused of being an imposter. I feel like I'm uniquely me, and it would be sad if somebody was like, where the fuck's Mike? Where the fuck is Whiskey Mike? And I'd be like, I'm right here, dude. You'd be like, no, the other Whiskey Mike. And you're like, huh? It'd be upsetting, I could say. I'd just be like, shut up, Timothy. You fucking idiot. Now go make me some goddamn nachos. You know, in some cases, the person experiencing the delusion may believe an animal, an object, or even a home is an imposter. Capgras syndrome can affect anyone, but is more common in women, of course. In rare cases, it can also affect children. I got to say this, I've never heard of this before. I started thinking about it, like researching who's the fucking robot. Now, I don't have anything about what the robot syndrome is. I looked it up. I can't find anything. Maybe I'm the first. They call it the fucking, the Whiskey Mike syndrome. Like, it's kind of weird. There's only one person that suffers from it, and then that person's like, well, I feel that way too. And it's like, well, now there's two. That's my doctor's diagnosis on WebMD. It can be caused by brain injuries, schizophrenia, especially paranoid hallucinatory schizophrenia. It causes episodes of Capgras syndrome. Schizophrenia also affects one's senses of reality and can cause delusions. So there's that. I still don't think it bangs in the fucking booty hole of what you feel like everybody's robots, or maybe it's just that you're in a simulation. I don't know. I'm not just saying that because fucking people say that. I'm just, I've got some, I'm by myself a lot, like I'm working, I'm fucking, I'm in the beat laboratory making all the fucking moves, cashing checks, breaking necks, and I get a little lonely from time to time. So if you are like me, where you're a lonely individual, which I'm not really, I entertain myself by doing podcasts and talking to myself in fucking rooms. Loneliness can lead to various psychiatric disorders like depression, alcohol abuse. That's probably it. I'm probably just lonely. I need to fucking get out of the house. This fucking coronavirus isolation bullshit has really done a number on me. That's bad. Child abuse. No. Sleep problems, personality disorder, and Alzheimer's disease. I'm not old enough. I don't feel to get Alzheimer's, but I feel like it's coming. If I'm already at this stage. I got loneliness, I guess. I'm not really lonely. I got my son and I see my friends, so I'm not really lonely. In fact, I think I told you already, I fucking hate being around people. My friends are great, but I hate even being around them. Sorry, guys. It's the truth. I don't have depression. I'm not depressed, but I do maybe alcohol abuse. But I don't go overboard. I'm not like I have an episode where I talk about it. I'm like I drink 6 to 8 beers a night, but I drink a little bit to ease the tension of my life. No child abuse, sleep problems for sure, and the sleep problem is that I sleep too much. Some are like, that seems great. No, it's not. I'll tell you why it's fucking not. I will go to bed, and it doesn't matter. I'll go to bed. I could go to bed at fucking 6 p.m., and I'll wake up at fucking 8 p.m., and it'll get 14 hours of sleep. And I've already gone, they say there's 4 stages of sleep, like you're in deep REM sleep. I'll go past that shit. I'll go in MER sleep backwards, and I wake up like a fucking question mark. My back feels like it's in my front. My front feels like it's in my fucking back. Things are not right. Realities are upside down, and I'm hurting. It's like I've been sleeping in a gosh darn vehicle in the front seat, and I'm too late. I'm too fucking tired to prop the seat back, like hitting the fucking little louver. And I'm just sitting straight up all night, and then I try to curl up. And I'm sort of a big person, I'm over 200 pounds, and I'm like sitting there taking up all the space in my fucking hatchback with my stick shift riding up my fucking inner thigh. Oh, that's how I wake up. No matter when I go to sleep, I get fucking 14 hours of sleep. It sucks, and I wake up painful. So I do have a sleep disorder. I mean, people say you need a lot of sleep. You got to get a lot of sleep. You out into the woods, you out camping or some shit, you'll sleep for fucking days. You know what I mean? Like you go out there and you'll just sleep for fucking ever. Go to sleep at like 6 p.m. when it starts to get a little bit dark near the fall, and then you're up at like 6. You're like, where did time go? I was asleep for half a fucking day. Rip Van Winkle up in this motherfucker. Some call me Rip Van Stinkle, you know what I'm saying? So, there's that. Isolation. Does isolation cause mental illness? Isolation in health and mortality. Let's read a little bit more, shall we? I'm just reading off the Google. I'm not even going into Wikipedia. Social isolation has been found to be associated with poor mental health, including increased risk for depression, cognitive decline, anxiety, and substance use. Social isolation in elderly individuals is also associated with an increased risk for dementia. Yeah. Your brain, human beings have these brains that just fucking run wild if you don't like reel it back. The brain is an amazing fucking thing. One of my favorite mental illnesses to watch is hoarding. I fucking hate it. It's like anything cringe. It just makes you angry. You probably watch the show Hoarders, maybe. It drives me fucking crazy. I hate having stuff like, I know that people are watching on YouTube. They see a bunch of shit all over the shelf right here, but it's like memories type of stuff. I got a bunch of books that I read. The fucking Leprechaun Returns, a fucking Trebuchet. Some stuff up there that just reminds me of my old gym timer. There's a fucking Metro card from New York City Subway. When I was there this last year, a fucking notebook with some notes on it that I wrote. Some stuff from my past life. And, that's what I put on there. But I try to keep things neat and orderly as much as I can. So I fucking hate hoarding. Okay? I fucking hate it. If you just have stuff to have it, like, I don't fucking get it. Do you use it? I know people like to have stuff. They like to have nice stuff. I like to have nice stuff too, but everything tends to have its place with me, And like I said, my life is not that fucking organized, but I try to live an organized life. Things go where they're supposed to. I put things away after I'm done with them, Not OCD about it. So like maybe the trash is a little bit full. I got to take it out, and I'm like, I'm just going to sit down, and then I'll take it out later. You know what I mean? But hoarding is another fucking thing, and I don't know why those fucking, if I told this to my son, I was like, and I didn't swear when I said it, but I'm going to swear now because I don't swear in front of my son. But I was like, if my mother was that way, like I went home to New York just to go fucking back and see my mom. And like, I went there and I was like, wow, you got a bunch of flamingos in your fucking yard. Also refrigerators. Like that. I'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you, Mom? It's like, we're getting a fucking dump truck. And she's like, but I use them for my business. I'm like, you're going out of fucking business. You're fucking done. You're not living like this. I'll make you live outside in a box before that. Don't ever fucking put shit on your yard if there's too much shit in your house. Get rid of the shit in your house. Get rid of the shit in your house. Get rid of all of it. I fucking hate hoarding. But the show is interesting from a psychological standpoint. As I said many times, I like psychology because it's funny. I get a kick out of it. Like, why are people the way they are? Like, why am I the way I am? Why did I start a podcast? Why is anybody the way they are? You know, I talk to, you know, even just people I see on a general day-to-day basis are like, how can I take your order? Like, I'm just like, why did you say it like that? I just don't get it. There's something with that. Like, you asking me how I want my fucking chicken nuggets is indicative of you when you got beat as a child. You know, all the stuff that happened to you. Your uncle played a little bit too roughly with you when you were a fucking youngster. And I'm sorry for that. I got nothing to do that. But it all led to you being a hoarder that works at McDonald's asking me about my chicken nuggets. You know? But hoarding. Okay, while hoarding is generally categorized as an obsessive compulsive disorder, there's an element of loss and heartbreak in filling one's life up with stuff. When we're not able to fill up our lives with close friends and family, some people may turn to comforting objects and fill this void. You know, I like to collect fuck dolls. I have a house full of fuck dolls. I don't even know how many there are. One of them's trapped under the couch and it's flattened. That one's got the jizz in it I never washed out. The International Obsessive Compulsive Disorder Foundation speaks directly to this, stating loneliness is one of the main factors that causes hoarding to occur. So listen, people, you got to get outside. I mean, not many of you are like me. You know, I'm okay with being by myself. I'm like I said, I'm a little bit of a loner, but I'm not lonely. You know what I mean? I'm a loner, but I'm not lonely. So if you're not a loner and you are lonely, get outside and eat some bologna. If you're lonely, go fucking walk in the park. Coronavirus can't stop you. Fuck all that mask shit. Go up to somebody and say, hey, would you like to have some of my bagel? I just got a fresh onion bagel, a cheese onion bagel filled with fucking jalapeno cream cheese. That sounds delicious, by the way. I don't know if that sounds good to you. Go get one of those. You know, take some time to yourself to go outside. I mean, you're already taking time to yourself. You're already fucking lonely. You lonely ass bitch. Go outside and say hello to somebody. You know, don't be creepy about it. You'll put some clothes on first. But just go outside, get, you know, with your fucking stupid ass bagel. Go fucking share it with a friend. You know, there's tons of homeless people out there. You could go like, hey man, you hungry? And he's like, no, I want fucking change. I need heroin. Like, you know, at least you're having a conversation. At least at the minimum, you're having a fucking conversation. Can't go wrong. What happens next? Only the sands of time will tell. You know what I'm saying? You know, objects fill the emptiness. But as emptiness gets bigger, so may the mountains of objects. You know, if you like stuff, I don't like you, first off. But if you like stuff, that's fine. Maybe cut it off a little bit. You know, don't get piles of stuff where your cats are stuck underneath. And you're like, where's Mittens? Mittens was under there playing with the yarn ball, and your pile of fucking Fabergé eggs fell all over that fucking cat. That cat deserved it. He's a cat. No one should have cats. But, you know, especially no one should have cats that are flattened underneath your fucking Fabergé eggs, you slob. So just go outside. You can prevent all this shit. You can prevent yourself being on the next episode of Hoarders by just going outside and having a good time with people. You know? Or maybe just sit on a bench and look at them like I do. You know? So I can look at their psychology. You know, you got to get outside. You can't be isolated. It's fucking weird. Now, this in the spirit of psychology, myself and my bros were looking at social media lately. I like to play this little game. And it's pretty fun. But it will fuck you in the end because you'll start seeing this shit all the time. So I started noticing something on my feed on Instagram. Never talked about it on the social media profiles or on my story, but it's kind of interesting. And I'm going to share this, and you can fuck with people like this. If you don't mind seeing a little bit of the old fucking strange on your fucking feed all the time, like I do, like my feed is just full of old bitches with their titties hanging out, dressed in lingerie and shit. It's disgusting. I open up Instagram, I'm immediately like, but I turn around once I stop gagging, and I fucking forward it to a group chat. Now, what's brilliant about this is I understand the algorithm. I understand it completely. And I understand that when people start seeing shit over and fucking over again, that their fucking feed starts filling up with it. Not only that, it starts going into Google and every other fucking app that you fucking, you fucking threw caution to the wind, and you're just like, yeah, I'll approve that ad without, I'll approve that ad without fucking, or that fucking app without even reading the privacy policy. Sure. Take all my private information and sell it to China. That's what I'll do. I just want to play this fucking game of dominoes on fucking, what is it? The fucking, Clash of Clans or some shit. I want to play Angry Birds. I don't give a fuck. Who cares? Who cares who gets my information? China cares. That's who. But anyway, I've been doing this thing with my friends. I piled them all up in a group chat, and I started forwarding these pictures or these profiles of old ladies in lingerie. It's fucking disgusting. Now, what's weird about it is that all of these fucking old bitches have hundreds of thousands of fucking followers and fucking likes on every profile. Not only that, there's a bunch of nasty people on there, like just people in general, nasty as fuck, and they all have the same. And it's all very robotic, like they're robot people. It goes back to psychology. Is everybody robots? I think so. Social media lately, my feed will say different. Will say exactly that. But these people post the most fucking retarded. I'm sure you've seen it. There's just these people that post, like, let's just go with it. There's these chicks that post pictures of them holding up fish, and then on the next photo, they're baking burgers, and they're holding up the burgers like they were holding up the fish, and then they're on a boat, and then they're like, in Florida, peace, or whatever the fuck they're doing, and it's the same fucking caption cycled through, like they have this fucking robotic, algorithmic fucking profile posting bullshit, and it's just, you can look at it and be like, oh, this is a fucking pattern, they just do this, they're just beating the algorithm. But there's something more than that. It's not that they're just beating it. They have purchased and bought followers to fucking like to make them feel good. I had this fucking, this thought that came over. I was like, I wonder if there's like, we all know people buy followers. Like, it's no secret. But I was like, I wonder, because you see all these people that are commenting like the same shit. Like, oh, you're so beautiful. And it's like, who the fuck are you looking at? And then it's like, have a good day, beautiful. And it's like the same fucking comments, or like, those burgers look nice. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, if I was posting a comment on there, it'd be completely different. I'll spare you what I would say on there. But I'm like, God damn, grandma, put your tits away. Like, that's what I would say. But like, there's people like, that seems like fun. And some of the comments are just like, well, that doesn't apply to that. Because I look, aside from looking at all the old grandma saggy titties, I look and I'm like, who are these people? Oh, they're 25 years old, like saying, hello, beautiful, great smile. Like, it's just fucking weird. So I started doing a little research, and it's called botnet. Oh, botnet. That's what it is. Essentially, if you didn't realize that, if you didn't realize there's a thing called botnet, let me just dip your brain in some fucking information dressing, okay? Get ready for this shit. How many people, hold on. How many fake people on social media are there? And by that, I mean how many profiles are fake as fuck. Like, not just like people with multiple profiles, people with robots, not people with robot people. Robots. See, I'm already fucked up. How many robot profiles do you think there are on social media? I'll say it again. How many robots do you think are on social media? Well, this number may fucking blow you away. It may blow you away. There's 95 million fucking robots on Instagram. A fucking load. 95 million bots on Instagram alone. So what's who has the most? Let me look this up because I don't want to get rid of that. I want to talk about that shit. Let's go to Goog, or Lugal.com. Let's go Instagrammer with most followers. Okay, there it is. Cristiano Ronaldo, the most followed individual on Instagram. He's a soccer player, I believe. Or let's go to the 20 most followed fucking profiles. I'll just pick the first 3 and I'll talk about them. Okay, Katy Perry with 98.9. I guess this is a little bit old, but I'll still use it. Miley Cyrus, 110.5 million followers. She got 1,100,000 likes on this one picture of her just with her stupid fugly face, and it says bangers on there. And then Khloe Kardashian, 109 million followers. So you look at that number. Let me pull it up again. You look at the 95 million bots on there, and it starts making you think, like, how many people are fucking getting bots? What do bots do? What exactly are bots? Are they just fucking fake followers to plus up your numbers? True, but there's also another side. Aside from the bots, there's people, real people, that are in a thing called botnet as well, and what they do, and I'm not saying this exactly, so don't quote me, but there's essentially what it is, and I used to say this about, is Russian click farms. So essentially you go on and pay like $5 and send 1,000 people to your competitor's page. And literally, somebody looked it up, it was like $25 and you get 1,000 like negative reviews on your page, which happened to me a while ago. That's why I know about it, because I researched. I was like, what the fuck happened? Went from like a perfect 5-star rating to a fucking 3 in like the matter of 5 minutes. It's a bunch of Russians, and you just pay for that shit. You can also pay for followers, but you can also pay for this other fucking thing that I feel is more sinister, is you just pay for people to fucking give you good comments. So it's this pool of people that all get paid to go on. They're real people, and every time their post notifications go out, and they're like, hi, beautiful, and it's just this automatic shit. Like, that's a real fucking thing on social media. There's people that get paid to comment on your page. So fucking ridiculous. And you look at it, and it's like, numbers don't mean shit these days. And I have a business, you know, I got the podcast, I got other shit going on. And like, I look at numbers some days, just like many of you, you're just like, oh, if I could get more likes, and it would mean something. Like, and when it all boils down to it, when fucking almost 100,000 or 100 million people are fake on there, or like 100 million bots are on fucking Instagram that they still haven't gotten rid of. And then there's on top of that, probably fucking 200 million on top of that. With Instagram has 1 billion, I think today it was like a 1 billion registered user, but you still have like all these however many hundreds of millions of people that are just fucking paid to comment, and that's their role on whatever profile. It starts to just water down the numbers and the fucking what it actually means. And I'll tell you, like, my sales on my business shit, it's like it doesn't correlate to how many fucking likes or whatever. Like, people would look at some of the likes that I get, and they're just like, oh, this dude doesn't do that well. But it's like, I actually do pretty well. And it's like, I could post something and get a bunch of fucking likes one, and then sell fucking practically nothing. And then the next day I post something that's like no one likes, and I'll sell a bunch of shit. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't really get this anymore. Like, is it worth paying for any sort of ads? Like, you know, because advertisement is something you do on Instagram as well. You can pay for ad space. I'm sure you've seen it. So I go off, and I'm on the fence about that all the time. Like, what do I fucking do? Like, it's so confusing, especially during coronavirus time, because Mark Zuckerberg has like his whole fucking organization's charging more for ads if you take part in that fucking thing. So, you know, I think that, like, social media, like, you can say what you want about it. Like, I have my opinions about it. Like, it's a necessary evil for my business. Like, if you have a business and you don't have social media, it's kind of hard unless you're a very specific thing and you work locally, or you have a service that's within the community, like, that people know about. It's social media is pretty important, but it's a necessary evil, I think. And with 95 million bots out there just running amok, plus the fucking multiple hundreds of millions of fucking people that just post when these fucking old grandmas post. I'll touch on that in a minute too, because I don't think I finished that whole fucking thing. Why it's so fucking awesome. So anyway, you know, social media has done this, it used to be weird, a certain way, and it was like, you just post stuff for your friends and family, but then it changed because I'm old enough to have been from the start of social media, from MySpace to fucking AOL to going on AOL in the chat rooms, and you're like, I have an internet girlfriend, and it's like some fucking 50-year-old dude in a basement somewhere, like just jacking off to fucking chat. Yeah, so like you look at, people really fucking feel like their social media is like this, like essentially like a doppelganger, or like a fucking this other piece of them. It's like having another arm that you can't see. You know what I mean? It's an appendage. It's like the part of them, social media. It's like so many people buy into the fact that this is something more than just digital shit, and they get off on likes and comments and all this fucking, non-tangible currency of fucking feel good. Feel good. Feel good. Just based on likes, comments, follows, man. And, that with all of that, it's like the more following people get, whether real, imagined, or fucking otherwise, it's like people start to feel like they're more important than they are. I'm not saying people aren't important on a general level. It's just like, you're not more important than the next dude. So stop fucking thinking you are. I don't give a fuck how many fucking followers you have. What are you, like, why are you more important because you post this one fucking selfie of you on all of your fucking, all the fucking pictures, and then you're like, have a good Monday. It's like, what are you doing? Like, how does that make you better because you can raise numbers faster? It doesn't make you better at all. It makes you better at one thing, social media. Social media is worthless. It doesn't do anything for you. A lot of these people just do it for fucking this feel-good button. Like, people hit like and they feel good, but then the next day they fucking don't get a likes and they're just fucking crushed. It's like crippling. It's with psychology, dude. It's just fucking crazy. It goes with all the isolation, fucking, the Capgras syndrome, depression. It's fucking weird. I'm not anti-social media in the regards of, like, I think they should get rid of it. People can do whatever they want. I'm very libertarian in a lot of fucking ways. I think people should be able to do whatever the fuck they want. But people turn likes into value and followers into significance. It results in a world of false narratives in people's lives where they just think that this is reality. It's like, you hear them. They fucking tell stories, and it's like, wait, where were you? And it's like, I was on Instagram. Like, what the fuck? I remember, like, when I was a kid, going and making memories as just out with no, social media. And nowadays, you got all fucking everybody on social media. Babies that were brought up into this world, they all are like, this is awesome. This is how it's always been. So it's such a weird world. Like, because, most of you listening have been around since there was no internet. Internet's been around for a while, but the usable side of internet, like when AOL came along, when you got those discs and it was like, oh, you got 10 hours of fucking online time. Could you imagine that? 10 hours of online time? That'd be gone today. How many of those hours of those discs had people spent? Like, I'm talking about, like, how many hours of the total hours? Like, you got a 10-hour disc of fucking AOL online, and you went into chat rooms and you were talking to some dude thinking it was a chick, asking for fucking naked photos of chicks that they pull off of fucking internet, and they're just like sending it to you, and some old dude's jerking off in his basement. Some of you are fucking but yeah, so like this past week, hanging out with Mr. Antifa and fucking watching the Charles Gasparino's desk and thinking about that everybody's robots. I had to get out of the fucking house, and so like I did something I haven't done in a while. I took my son and we went out to this river, this farm that's out there. You can run down, and there's this huge cliffs that, not huge in like they're 50 feet. It's like 15 foot to 20 foot drops, and then there's rope swings, and it's just a fucking good time. You walk across the river. There's no cell phone service, so don't even bother bringing your cell phone. It was just a good time. It was like getting back to my my fucking youth before social media, and I didn't even think about my phone. And it's like, you don't have many of those moments these days where you can just fucking break off. Because even when I'm on like camping trips, I'm like, do I have service? You know, if you go to a place where you definitely won't have service for days, it's easier to fucking throw that shit out because, like, you don't have internet connectivity. You can't do shit on your phone. You can't even play some games on there if you're bored. So, because they all require internet connections, which I feel is a good thing in some ways, because then you can't go out to places and use your phone in those, you know, secluded locations. But it was a good time to get out of fucking everything. And just be there with my son and running and jumping and playing. We had a mud fight at one point, and it was, you know, it cleared my brain up a little bit. Like, it got rid of all the funk, because I feel like you stay in this fucking mode of just the rat race of just looking at social media all the time, doing your job. You need to get the fuck out of it. And I'm not talking about like get outside or whatever. It's like get away from all connection to the real world. Just go enjoy your life. And I think it helps in the long run. There's a couple things I believe that help people from a psychological standpoint. If I've learned anything, it's having a connection with people that you love and are a part of your circle on like a personal basis. That's why I do the podcast. I like talking to my friends. And when we can tell everybody to shut their fucking phones off and we just have a conversation. You know, people don't do that. So that's one of the reasons I do the podcast. You know, but also, like, just get away from fucking everything. And then another thing that feels good, like, and it is good, not just feels good, but is good for you. I feel like I've had a lot of struggles in my life, psychologically, just emotionally, all of the shit. And I'm a big supporter of people going and talking to anybody. You probably heard me bring it up sometimes on some of my other, you know, bigger social media profiles, but you need to talk to people if you have shit going on. If like me, if I have times where I feel like people are robots, I gotta go talk to somebody. I gotta tell people about it. So that's why I talk to my friends and I tell them how ridiculous I feel and how crazy it is. You know, I don't put that on my son. I'm not an asshole. Go, hey, maybe, you know, I'll do it sometimes as like a joke, but hey, do you think everybody's a robot? Do you feel like a robot? Just joking. But you know, throw down your guard sometime. Go talk to me. Talk to your friends. Tell them how you're feeling. You know, whatever you're feeling that's kind of fucking you up. It might fix things if you can get an outside perspective. Put down your ego. Fucking, you know, chat with your buddies. Chat with your family. You know, talk to somebody objectively. Someone who's not in all your business or knows you. Like a psychologist that isn't, you know, a total shrink that's going to, you know, say like, oh, just take these pills and go off. You know, my advice for anybody that's going to seek mental health help is to not go with somebody who just immediately jumps on the prescription bandwagon. It doesn't really help you. Aside from that, a big believer in if you like smoking weed, do that. Take CBD. It's fucking awesome. CBD is great. I was so against taking it until the day I took it. And then I was like, oh, I'm not ever going to stop taking this. So, yeah, get on that shit. CBD is amazing. You got fucking receptors in your body that are specifically designed to receive cannabidiol. So get on that if you need help. Helps with anxiety. For me, at least, anxiety for me. I think it's a little bit different for everybody, like much things. Like some people can eat a lot of spicy hot food. Like I can eat a shit ton of hot food. Some people can't. Their buttholes blow out. They die. But yeah, figure out what you need. Don't be a pussy. And by pussy, I mean don't bottle it up like you're a bottle. Talk to somebody. Get some help. You know, do some things for you. Get outside. Get away from this fucking the rat race. Go jump in a river. You know, throw some mud at people. If they want it, don't just start throwing mud at people because you got some other psychological disorders. But yeah, I just wanted to get some stuff off my chest. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my rambling nonsense. Hopefully it helped you. I want to do an episode talking about politics because I feel like people misconstrue my stance on a lot of things. People send me some stuff on social media and they're like, you'll like this. And I'm like, man, not really. I'll just give them a heart and I'm like, yeah, cool. Go away, please. And, but I think I want to do like an episode where I talk about how crazy the world is and how both sides are fucked up. I don't think really either sides are getting it. But it is what it is. I'm not talking about socialism. That's crazy too. I just generally think people need to live their life. So I'm very libertarian in that regards. Live your life. Stop bothering people. Don't be that nosy neighbor. Fucking Karens. Bunch of Karen Kyles. But if you do have some things going on and you need to hide them, well, there's coreconceptsus.com. You know, he can hide, not only can he hide pistols in his high quality Kydex, he can also hide your emotions. If you need an emotion holster, he'll make it for you. You know? Go to coreconceptsus.com. Use code VIOPRO and you get 10% off your order. His Instagram page, Core Concepts Instagram page is core_concepts_official. You'll find him. Use K's for the C's and you'll be there. There's always Aries Clothing. You already knew that. I'm not gonna fucking bang the drum. I'm not gonna fucking ram it down your throat. But go to fucking Aries Clothing. Don't use the code. Just give me all your money. That's how that goes. Just go there. It's a fucking prime sponsor of this podcast, and you're a fucking asshole if you don't buy some shit from there. All right. Sorry if I lost you as a follower of this podcast, but fuck you. Go to ariesclothing.com. Buy some shit. There's also evilvibesco.com. I don't really do much shit on there, but that's a blog site that we put out to just smash life in the fucking dick. You know, it's kind of hard to read, partly because my grammar sucks, but still cool. People like the pictures. You can also go to strikeforceenergy.com. You know, I like to get hyped. I like to do it live. I like to say fuck it, do it live. And we use code Evil Vibes, EVILVIBES for 20% off plus free shipping over $25. If you like this podcast and you believe in it, you go there, you get that energy package, you fucking throw it in your butthole, and you get hyped up. And if you're there on the website, you can get more than just energy drinks. You can get, I think they got fucking protein bars and shit. But if you go there, get on the subscription. You get that shit delivered to you hot, piping fresh every fucking month right to your door. You don't even have to think about it. I love it. I have the pump bottle. Do I have it here? No, I put it away. I get the pump bottle. I get it on a subscription. I use my code on that subscription. Money comes back on the podcast, helps us grow. So not only do patrons help us, but everybody helps us just by getting some Strikeforce Energy, some shit that you already love and you're already going to buy. You use that code, you get it 20% off, and you help out this podcast. So fucking do it. And then if you really want to help support the podcast, you want us to grow, you want us to be better than before, you want to do shit like get us these fucking SM7B mics that I'm talking on right now. Listen to the fucking quality, baby. It's fucking quality, baby. You know, go to patreon.com/violentprofessional. That is where I put out some additional content behind the scenes. I send people that are on there some special items from time to time, you know, and I thank them by making content that you haven't seen before. So you can go on there, get episodes early. You know, if you're just, I don't want to wait for an episode like this episode I'm recording now is going to be, as soon as I'm done editing, goes to the patrons. They get it whenever we're done editing. So it's kind of a little chaotic schedule because I don't have a standard schedule for when we record, but usually episodes for non-patrons drop on Mondays. So you can help yourself out if you want to hear these episodes as soon as they are edited by going to Patreon. Patreon.com. patreon.com/violentprofessional. And with that, I want to thank you for listening. Thank you for fucking listening to this episode, and I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. If you need to not be lonely, don't be lonely. Get outside and fucking share your bagels, kids. Bye-bye. If you like this episode, please consider subscribing to us on Patreon by visiting patreon.com/violentprofessional. By subscribing, you have access to all the episodes as soon as we upload, as well as bonus content that you can't see anywhere else. You can also support us by simply giving us a positive rating on your listening platform of choice. And above all, thank you for the continued support of the Violent Professional Podcast.